Welcome to Live Your Best Midlife. I'm your host, Jill Lewis. Join me for inspiring pep talks and expert interviews as we explore staying active, feeling great, and embracing midlife adventures. Whether you're an empty nester, a pickleball enthusiast, or just ready to rediscover your vibrant self, this podcast is for you. Let's make our mid-years our best years. Now, on to the show. Welcome back to the podcast. This is your host, Jill Lewis. And today we have a bit of a pep talk about how you can find a motivation when you feel like you've lost your spark. All right. So if you've been feeling unmotivated, like you know exactly what to do, but you can't seem to get yourself to do it, first of all, you're not alone and nothing's wrong with you. Motivation isn't a personality trait. It's a state of your body and your brain. And in midlife, that state shifts a lot. Today, I really want to just walk you through why your spark fades, what's actually happening physiologically, and how to rebuild momentum in a way that leads to strength, confidence, and yes, fat loss. Because you deserve to feel good in your body without waiting for that perfect week to start. Okay, so let's unpack this together piece by piece in a way that actually makes sense and gives you real next steps. Sound good? Let's dive in. So let's talk about why motivation fades and the real science behind it. Because before we jump into the fix, it's important to really understand why motivation disappears. Once you understand the physiology, the shame drops, and that alone really does bring some clarity. One of the biggest factors is changes in your dopamine system, okay? Estrogen is a dopamine amplifier, the hormone that makes you feel motivated, focused, and driven. And as we know, estrogen dips in midlife. Dopamine doesn't hit as strongly, so tasks feel heavier. Follow through feels harder, and you don't get that immediate internal reward that you used to get. Now, we're going to layer on top of that chronic stress. Chronic stress, which raises cortisol in this quiet background way. Not enough to make you feel panicked. Okay, we're not talking about a spike, right? But enough to blunt motivation. And your body shifts into energy preservation mode. Everything feels like a slog, even things that you really do care about. And then, of course, there's decision fatigue. After years of being the default planner, organizer, caretaker, holiday coordinator, your brain is simply overloaded. When the mental load is maxed out, motivation totally goes offline. Here's the transition I want you to hear clearly, though. Once you understand that your motivation hasn't disappeared, it's just being smothered by biology and bandwidth. You stop blaming yourself. And when the shame drops, you've got room to really take action. So now that we understand the science, okay, the next piece makes even more sense. And right now I want to talk about the myth of the I'll start Monday and what works instead. When your brain feels overwhelmed or understimulated, it defaults into the I'm going to start on Monday mindset. It's not because you're a procrastinator. It's because your brain is trying to avoid effort when effort feels expensive. I'll start Monday feels safe. It feels organized. It feels hopeful, right? But it also keeps you really stuck because motivation doesn't come before action. That's what's interesting. Motivation comes after action. Your dopamine system fires when you complete something, not when you plan to complete something. And this is where the flow shifts beautifully into the next part. Okay. If you want to break out of a slump, you don't wait for the perfect week or the perfect Monday. You create momentum with one tiny, doable action that wakes up your brain and signals, yep, hey girl, we're moving. So I want to talk about your why, like your why in quotes, in a real honest way. Like, why are you wanting to do this? Once you've taken that first little action, your brain becomes more open to bigger changes. And this is where your why becomes your anchor. Your why in midlife is nuanced. Yes, most women I coach absolutely want to lose weight. They want the belly fat gone. They want to feel lighter, stronger, more toned, more at home in their body. And that desire is 100% valid. But I just want to say this, what actually sustains motivation is not the number on the scale. It's what that number represents. It represents feeling confident again. It represents moving through life without pain. It represents being able to hike and travel and play pickleball. It represents feeling vibrant in the second half of your life. So, fat loss might get you in the door, but your strength and your energy keep showing up. And when your why shifts from pressure to possibility, the journey feels a whole lot different. It's actually enjoyable. And that takes us naturally into the next part. Like, how do you rebuild that belief in yourself? How do you go from I want to, I absolutely know I can? This is going to be all about our small daily wins and how confidence and motivation are rebuilt. If your deeper why is the anchor, your daily wins are the engine. Okay. So if your why is the anchor, your daily wins are the engine. And this is where your spark starts to come back online. Your brain is always looking for evidence. Every time you complete a small win, your brain gets a dopamine hit and says, see, she follows through, she can trust herself, she keeps promises to herself. This is neuroscience. Small wins literally rewire your brain's reward center. This is why, with my clients, I'm constantly asking them to tell me their weekly wins. That doesn't mean everybody does it, but the ones that do are so much more successful. It's absolutely wild. And I'm talking like wins that are so incredibly simple, like protein at breakfast, one 10-minute walk in a day. The kitchen was closed at 8 p.m. They prepped their vegetables. They drank water before their coffee in the morning. They did like a quick, just quiet stretching session. These aren't crazy things, right? But these small wins help quiet that stress response. They boost dopamine. They reduce decision fatigue because you're building a routine. And this now goes right into what I want to talk about next, because now that we create momentum, what tools are going to actually help you stay in that momentum? So, tools that reignite your spark. This is totally backed by real science and real life. One is accountability. Accountability keeps your brain engaged when motivation is super low. So when you know someone is checking in or cheering you on, the follow-through rates shoots up nearly 95%. Bonkers, right? That's insane. You've got a 95% better chance of following through when you have accountability. Not because you fear judgment, but because your brain anchors to commitment. The second thing is new challenges. When your routine feels stale, your motivation stalls. Novelty stimulates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that's responsible for decision making and motivation. That's why things like a step challenge, a 5-day reset, a new, like my VIPs this month, we're doing a new strength training, progressive overload 3 days a week. It's like a new format that we're doing. It is the spark that we needed in the month of November. It's just wild how that happens. And you also need community. Your nervous system calibrates to the people around you. If you're surrounded by women who are lifting, eating well, celebrating wins, staying consistent, your brain mirrors that behavior. Community isn't just support, it's actually co-regulation. It's energy. It is momentum. My Vicky Eyewear progressive readers are seriously the best I've ever owned. The quality is next level. They're sturdy. The lenses are crystal clear. I love that part. And there are so many styles to choose from. I used to feel just kind of old and boring pulling out my readers, but now I just feel stylish and cute. If you've been wanting readers that actually feel high-end, check the link in today's show notes to vickyeyewear.com, and you can use the code Jill20, that's Jill20, for 20% off your next order at vickyeyewear.com. So here's where everything that you have learned so far just actually funnels into real life action. 1, choose one morning anchor habit. What's it going to be? Let me give you some examples. Protein first, okay? Hydration first. A short walk. Pick one, repeat it, let it ground you. Let that be the morning anchor of your day. And when I say hydration first, it literally could mean while your coffee's brewing, you drink 8 ounces of water. That's it. This, and that might feel so simple to you, and you're like, but Jill, what's that going to do? You won't believe what that will do. You really wouldn't. This is where we call it's practical, it's achievable, it's schedule friendly. These are little action steps that are going to get your spark back. Okay. So, 1, choose a morning anchor habit. I want right now for you to think, what's that going to be? How are you going to anchor your morning? The second one is I want you to remove one friction point. What is a friction point for you? It's different for everybody. This could be something like setting your clothes out the night before, like your workout clothes. So you're removing that like decision fatigue. You're removing an obstacle, right? It might be ordering your groceries. So maybe if you have a Walmart in your town, you're just going to order your groceries. You can have them delivered to your house. You can go pick them up. You're just like, I absolutely cannot stand going in that store. You order them and you pick them up or whatever. But like this becomes something that like if going to the grocery store is a waste of time for you, you end up spending more money than you wanted to, you're removing a friction point there. Maybe a friction point for you is that you never have the right protein available in your house. You know that it's important. You've heard me talk about it ad nauseum. So maybe you're just going to spend on a Sunday or a Monday or whatever day, you're going to prep some protein. Could be a Saturday. Maybe you're going to have your Instant Pot going with one. You're going to cook up some turkey taco meat in another. And maybe you've got chicken, or maybe you've got chicken in a crock pot or your Instant Pot. Maybe you roasted some meat, like whatever. But that way, and you shred up some chicken, you've got protein handy and available. But this is all about making the behavior easier on yourself. Okay, so 1, you're going to do a morning anchor habit, a healthy morning anchor habit. 2, we're going to find a friction point, we're going to remove it. 3 is that we're going to add micro wins throughout your day. Things that you cannot fail at. These wins really build identity and confidence. So think about what your micro wins could be throughout your day. Maybe it's when you're on the phone, you're not sitting down. You take every phone call standing up. Maybe it is, like I said, where if you drank 8 ounces of water before your first coffee, that's a micro win. If you did your workout, that's a micro win. Maybe it's going to bed 15 minutes earlier. That's a micro win. So, lots of different ways to get micro wins in your day. And four, we're going to regulate your nervous system. A calm system is a motivated system. So, this sounds a little woo maybe for some of you, so don't roll your eyes at me, but like literally just add breathing. This could be a part of your workout. When you're at work, you're sitting at your desk, maybe it just means some shoulder rolls forward and backward, taking your ear to one shoulder, give it a little pull, just slow, a couple of box breaths where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, exhale slowly for 4, hold for 4. You just do that a few times. Could be adding sunlight into your day, adding a walk. Doesn't have to be even a long walk. Sometimes for me, it could just be walking. I have a really long driveway when I'm in Illinois. Could just be walking down to get the mail. Adding bedtime boundaries. That's a really important one. My in by 10 used to be a joke. Now it's like I truly live by it. I love it. And then number 5, use the 48-hour reset rule. So what is that? You don't need a perfect week, okay? I'm not expecting 7 days of perfection from you. But if you do have a misstep, things don't go right, you need a quick comeback, okay? Within 48 hours, get back into one routine. That's it. All right, so we're not going to spiral and let another 2 weeks or a month go by just because you had an off couple of days. So if you're listening and you're thinking, I want this, I want accountability, I want some structure, I want to feel good again, I want wins to start happening, then you can join me. You can join December 1st, I'm starting a new 21-day reset. This is going to be a fantastic way to not go off the rails during the Christmas season, the Advent season, and you're still going to enjoy yourself. That's the thing. This Nothing I said here today was extreme, right? And that's what gets us stuck. Expecting that we have to go to extreme levels with our health, with our workouts, with our food intake. Get that out of your mind right now. Nothing that I said today was extreme. It's all stackable, small, little wins. That is what wins the race in the long time. That's how you make the second act of your life the best one. We're going to start creating little habits. And before you know it, it's just your lifestyle. And we're talking literally lifting weights 30 minutes, 3 days, 3 to 4 days a week. We're talking drinking more water than you have been. We're talking reducing some processed foods out of your life and replacing them with whole food nutrition. Guess this is not rocket science. We're not doing anything that is so extreme, but we're just going to slowly roll this into our lifestyle. Now, you don't have to wait for motivation, okay? You are going to create it. And with the right tools, the right neuroscience, and the right support. You don't have to do it alone. I'd love for you to join me. If you're one of my former clients, you can hop back into VIP to get all the support that you need, or you need like just a total reset. You join the 21-day reset that's going to start on Monday, December 1st, because guess what? The price will go up in January. So if you want to do it at the $99 price point, join me Monday, December 1st. I would love to have you. And let's get that spark back in your life because I'm telling you, life is too short, is it not? It really, truly is. So honor yourself, honor the body that you've been given, and let's just take it one habit at a time. All right? So grateful for you listening to the podcast. Thank you so much. It would be an honor if you would share this podcast with a friend and you guys can do this 21-day reset together so that you have even more accountability and you can boost your efforts. The success rate is going to go 95% better because you have extra accountability in your life, not only from me, but from those in your circle. All right, you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live Your Best Midlife. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that follow button. And if you want to help more people discover my podcast, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave a rating and a review. Your feedback not only brightens my day, but it helps others to find my show. And if you're craving some more behind the scenes action, follow me on TikTok at Jill Lewis Living or on Instagram at Jill B. Lewis.